Hi, my name is Suzan McDowell, and welcome to another episode of In the Circle with Suzan, where I get to talk to all of the people that I think are super interesting, like my guest today. Today is Juneteenth, which is a very interesting celebration of freedom here in America, where the enslaved people were finally told, after the final amount of enslaved people were finally told that they were free. And so that's why we celebrate Juneteenth. It's a day of freedom for the Black community and actually freedom for the entire country. So today we are going to talk about freedom because I value freedom very, very much as an individual. And also artistic freedom is important to me. So on this day of freedom, we're going to talk about artistic freedom with two of the best painters and best people that I know in the world. Welcome to my guests.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Marcus Blake.
Yes.
And Adonis Parker. How are you guys doing?
Okay.
Very good, very good. Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning.
Sure.
Normally I just ask like your histories, but first we're gonna talk about like how I know you. And then we're gonna go into all of that. So, Marcus Blake.
Yes.
So I was moving into a space called Tribe, which is now the Center for Black Innovation, moving in my nice things. And I look up and there's this tall guy with the hat and the glasses. I can't see his face. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Because, I'm like, why are you in our lobby? White wall. Marcus says, I'm here to paint the lobby. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea what he was talking about. I kept moving in my boxes. I left when the wall was white. I watched him put tape on the wall, up, down, and around. I had no idea what he was doing. Left, came back on Monday, and the entire wall had been spray painted a metallic gold. And he had pulled off the paint, and that wall, the way that you did it, like, changed my brain. I'll never forget that day. I told everyone I had not known that that was possible. And you did that, and I didn't know you. And after that, I messed up this dress, and look at my beautiful dress. Gave it to Marcus. And Marcus did the most beautiful thing with my dress. He made it better. He made it into a Marcus Blake dress. This is one of my favorite dresses. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And after that, Marcus, I asked you to paint my door. So my beautiful door in Miami Shores, anybody's been to my house and you've seen that gorgeous door. It's a Marcus Blake door. He came to my house one day, did a bunch of taping. And at the end of it, I ended up with a pink, purple, and yellow Marcus Blake door. So you still have to come and sign it, Marcus.
Ooh.
You still have to come
I'll
and
be
sign
back.
it.
All right.
Very good, very good.
Could do that.
All right, so that is my relationship with Marcus. And we've been friends ever since. And I love your spirit. You already know.
Thank you.
So this one,
The legend.
the legend, the man.
That is not I.
This Silvery Rising, Adonis Parker, who is such a mercurial, enigmatic person. He's also very large, which is awesome because I think you're one of the people nobody would ever look at and think that you're as brilliant of an artist as you are. Because most people think they have like a image of an artist. Like he's clearly an artist. Clearly he's an artist. But you, I don't know if people look at you and think you're an artist. They think you're a football player. They think you're a construction dude. They think you're
A jockey.
anything but an artist. But you, Adonis Parker, when I met you with Mayor Shirley Gibson.
That's right.
We were it was either a Martin Luther King meeting or it was a meeting. And it was an old building, and it was either a Jazz in the Gardens meeting or MLK meeting.
MLK.
And you rolled up in there. And I was like, who is this person? And Mayor Gibson was like, oh, this is Adonis Parker. And I had never heard of you. And not only that, my company was like this old. So I didn't know anything about anything. And so Adonis was like, yeah, we got to get together. We decided we're going to get together. He calls me. I completely ignore him because I'm like, what can he do for me? He's an artist. He's as poor as I am. So I totally ignored him until one day I'm in my beautiful office in Wynwood. And I'm sitting there, and I'm busy. Busy, right? He done called the office 2-3 times. Go away. He calls, and I hear, Suzanne, your cousin is on the line. I'm like, my cousin? Half my cousins are in Jamaica. So I'm like, Lord have mercy, somebody calling me from foreign. I'm like freaked out. So I answer the phone. I'm like, which cousin is this? Half of them are in Texas, half are in Jamaica. He's like, this Adonis. Why you don't answer my calls? Why Adonis?
First of all, Shirley Gibson, Mayor Gibson, told me to do not stop until I reach you. So that's what I did.
Really?
Yes, she did. I promise.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, she was, because we were supposed to come out, something was due. It was design or, I don't know, proposal or layout or something. She said, please call her. I said, Miss Mayor Gibson, she's not answering her phone. But I had to get through, and I did.
I did. I answered the call.
You sure did. You got on there very fast.
I did. I was like, I felt so punked. I felt so punked because I was punked. Anyway, years later, we were also the agency for One United Bank, the largest Black-owned bank in the country. And years later, Terry and I, president and owner of One United Bank,
That's correct.
let me convince her and other people to convince her to put a mural on the side of the Miami branch, which is on 79th Street. And if you think about that, it's very banking is inherently a conservative institution. So for them to allow you to put a controversial mural on the side of the bank was a big deal. And that is how I got to work with Adonis Parker. And
We worked on several projects before that. They were scattered.
Yes.
Probably no money, low budget to no budget.
Yeah, which means I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means I had zero interest.
Yeah, but we still.
But so in the meantime, and in the between time, Adonis and I are
remember
both
those.
ambassadors of One United Bank. There's only 5 in the country, maybe 6. Me, you, Kevin, Terry, and remember the African actor? Oh my God, I forgot his name already. Anyway, and then probably Aaron and Kevin Jr. Anyway, we're the only ambassadors. In the meantime, Adonis created 10 of these cards. 10 of these cards. Tell them about these cards. These are Unity. These are Visa cards that have your artistic images on them. Beautiful, beautiful. This is Dooney. Dooney is meant to signify the innocence of Black boys that they try to take away from you guys. You don't get to be boys for very long. And then this is my favorite card, is the One Love card. Both of these are Adonis Parker's works that are then reproduced and put on thousands and thousands and thousands of One United Bank Visa cards as a major accomplishment, Adonis. And there's 10
That's
of these.
cool.
Anyway, all right. That is how I knew you both. Now we're going to start again. Marketing.
Yes.
Tell me all about yourself. Start from the beginning. I was born, and then what happened?
I showed up in my spacecraft.
You came in your spacecraft.
The center of the earth.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I don't know. Where do we start?
Were you born in Jamaica? Mm-hmm. Where?
I was born in Kingston. I grew up in St. Catherine.
Which school did you go to in Kingston?
I wasn't there too long ago. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. I was born in Kingston.
And
You know which hospital?
Jubilee.
I was born at Nuttall Hospital, which is very interesting, Nut Hall. Anyway.
And I don't know. I came from Jamaica.
How old were you when you came from Jamaica? Artists are so difficult. Why you guys gotta be difficult?
Well, I'm not a big
I gotta
thing.
drag it out of
I'm
you.
not big on like the whole age concept. So.
Well, no, I'm not even asking your age. You already know.
I just started to like.
I'm not telling
become
anybody
an
my
adult
age.
like a week ago.
Don't you worry about that. I just want to know, where are you from? Who are you? Your people.
Like what?
Who's your mother? Who's your father?
My mom is she's from Jamaica too.
Lovely.
She lives here. She lives in Norland. You know.
Yeah.
In little Jamaica over
How
there.
old when did you? Okay, so you grew up in St. Anne, right? When you left Kingston.
No, I grew up in St. Catherine.
I'm sorry, St. Catherine. I'm so
Same
sorry.
place, up and down.
Yes,
Kingston.
I'm so sorry. Yes, and where you went to the school?
No, I was young.
So you left Jamaica. How old were you when you left Jamaica?
7.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you were little. Yeah. And you came up to Miami?
I lived in North Miami area, and then from there to Norland, and then from Norland all over, most likely South, Little Haiti, Miami Beach area.
How did you become an artist? Were you always an artist?
I don't know. I was always creative. That's what I was saying. I was like, I never really was into painting or any art whatsoever about people or techniques or whatever. Just like to be creative. So I was making things. I've always made things.
With you like working with your hands? Got it.
Take things apart, put it together, reconstruct it, but not to be like, oh, this is art. And so
maybe you're like a little bit of a scientist or an alchemist.
I would say that.
Take a bunch of different things and make it something else.
Experimentation and just keep going. I just keep tinkering with things, and I always like tape. And
why did you like tape? You just randomly like tape?
I think it goes into another thing I've learned about myself, that I like small things in large quantities. So the tape fits that small and it's
small
large.
Things in large. You know, that's how you become a billionaire. You create a small thing that people buy in large quantities. I swear to God. So like the masks, the paintings, I realize I like that repetition of small things in large quantities. Wow.
So the tape fits that MO.
Yeah, it does. That's awesome. And then and I got to think, like when I was watching you do that wall, it was like magical and meditative. And I got to think, I mean, I wish I could do what you guys do. And I know that that's how Adonis gets out how he feels. He may not say anything, comes out in his art. But I got to imagine that, and I know obviously both of you guys do, but the pattern making got to be meditative or calms your
it's
your crazy mind.
I feel it's like almost a yoga or a Tai Chi kind of thing where the motions and the movements.
It's very slow.
And just creating with the space. Like it's really space. It's not the tape. It's the actual how much space can I use or how much space is there, and then from the space, how visual. What does it look like visual? So it's creating itself. It's not like I have an idea, I'm going to do this. It's literally, I just have to work with the amount of space that I have.
Got it. So the space is kind of like your, obviously the space is your canvas, just literally it's your canvas. But also it kind of provides you.
Right, the space plays in the space.
Yes, plays in this, and also gives you a confined area. You know what I mean? Like a finite area that you now have to figure out how to make it all happen. So then how do the patterns just come to you? Is it just always the same pattern?
No, it's literally just like, I think it's how I feel about art. Art to me is not how it looks. It's like how it makes me feel. So as I'm looking at it, I feel a particular way. Even though like I have to put one line here, it has to go there, or it can't. There's only so many ways it could be turned to make it really look good. And if it looks good, it feels good.
Yeah. Sometimes things just don't have a choice but to be where they are.
And I think that's like the essence of like feng shui. And I understand that too, where it's not what it looks like. It's like what the room makes you feel like. But in that feeling, there's a symmetrics to the room or a flow. So
do you think it kind of makes you like a mathematician even?
There is math in it. There's a lot of math in what I'm doing because it's, like I said, there's spacing, there's, repetition of numbers.
There's architecture in it even. Just the hard lines. So do you always do hard lines? Do you ever do like little soft bubbles? Obviously no, and I love your hard lines.
Yes, that's so I think, maybe, I don't know if it's a Gemini thing or just a dual nature thing or balancing.
Tai Chi balance.
Of masculine, feminine. So the lines are very masculine, and then I have my opposite style that's very curly. It's called Swirl-O-Vision.
God, I think you sent me one of those for the story.
So they're there. There's contrast. I like that too, where my work is about contrast. I'm about contrast. So the lines are contrast to the swirls.
Yeah, of course. That, and I love a circle. So, all right, I will be back with you, Marcus. But now we're going to dive into this one.
We're in a circle.
Because you're in the circle.
We're in the flow.
With your friend Suzanne. Yeah. Okay, Adonis. I know you're super close to your mom, and that like you're very much of a mama's boy. So can you start from the beginning? Tell me, where were you born? Tell me all about it.
I was actually born in Avon Park, Florida, but the same year I was born, we moved to Ohio, my family. I spent 12 years in Ohio. When I was young, I used to walk up to the television, and I think Woody Woodpecker was out, then the cartoon, and my mom used to tell me to sit down. Sometimes she said, get away from the TV. But I was the only child I could dissect a cartoon. My mind, I would take it apart.
How many of you guys was it?
4.
But you were blessed with this, the way you could
We're
see
all
things.
blessed with some type of talent, but it's different. Like, we got musicians, in my family, we all kind of grew up in the church, so we all kind of intertwined with each other with a different talent. But I don't know, when I start seeing stuff different from kids, I would sit by myself a lot. And a lot of people thought I was depressed, but God was downloading stuff in me. I didn't know what was happening to me. Like he said, you go to a place somewhere spiritually, and then even when you're not painting or creating, God is still talking to you and communicating with you. So, I mean, this is the weird thing I can say, that even now I could be anywhere. I could be at a restaurant. I could be in the bathroom, and I know that sounds weird, but
You could be here.
yeah, I could be right here. And I could see certain things, how the cameras are set up. Like this, when I walked in here, my mind started counting the walls all the way back here.
Really?
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, so I do that automatically. I could tell you how many people walked in the room. I could look like this and turn and count. I don't know where that comes from.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sound, maybe you're also a mathematician. I mean, I know part of your brain, just the fact that it's
art.
divergent.
It's art.
Yeah, your brain is divergent. It's, no, I'm divergent. Just my brain doesn't work like other people's brains. My thoughts are different. But I'm not an artist. I don't get to, they come out in words and stuff, but you get to put it in, in color. So I know that I've heard this story about when you were 4.
Yeah, or 6.
6,
Yeah.
what happened?
You mean a drawing pad?
When you realized.
Yeah. Oh, my mom gave me a drawing pad. My birthday was October 30th, and it was she gave me a Halloween drawing pad because it was around that time. And I was sitting on the back porch. I was 6 years old, and I opened it, and had to be high noon or something. But when the sun hit it, it was. I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
I had one. Those big pencils with the big eraser on it. Yeah, but it's just from that point on till now, I've been still that same dude. Like, that's why I understand everything that he says. This is weird. I didn't know his background or nothing. But I could understand that, because when you speak from a spiritual, you come from that place to where only people that has touched that place understands. I don't know if that makes any sense what I said, but when he said about the tape and everything, enough small things make big ideas, basically.
Small things, large quantities.
Yes, but still, I said the same thing with a different way. Yeah,
I didn't say the same thing.
yeah, but it's just it's almost like we're mutants in a way. But the best way I can explain it to people who don't know is that you're born with something. You have to, either your mom or someone that's in spiritual has to understand what you have and protect it.
Yeah,
He has
and
to be
encourage it.
protected. Yeah,
Yeah.
And when a lot of that, when you're not protected, you see that a lot of artists are now very, very talented, but if you notice, they can't get over that hump to actually make it, or they crash out, because the thing to me, what I've seen is that they fight against themselves because of creativity. They don't know how to release it. They don't know how to manage it nor control it.
And then sometimes creativity is not respected. I mean, that's the thing, by the people who mean the most to you.
Right. Either they're jealous, or either they lash out to it, or they a lot of them. What I found out,
disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. But what I find out is that because, number one, they don't understand it, and number two is that if it takes away any type of time or attention from them.
Oh yeah.
So it gets weird.
Yeah.
But if you love that person, you have to tell them the truth and tell them who you are, and they have to understand that we're moody sometimes.
Mercurial is the other great word for it.
Okay.
Mercurial.
And
I love words.
And we require time alone.
Yeah, in
You know,
order to
like
create.
he said, he said a lot, and like he said, with the tape and everything is just me with my brush. And sometimes I sat at the in the studio in the bank for about maybe 4 or 5 hours in a chair looking at the canvas, didn't touch it, didn't do nothing. We're just looking at it because it's therapeutic. Once you get an emotion, like he was saying, it's therapeutic. All that's therapeutic. But even the process of, because once we go in that world,
It's on.
it's a wrap. We don't come out. I don't have to eat. I don't have to listen to music or nothing.
Oh,
Because
wow.
it's just it drags you in there, and then
It's like a mental build
Yeah.
up.
And you love it. It's like you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And you feel like
It's freedom in there.
Powerful.
It's freedom in there. No matter
And
what happens in the
freedom.
world, it's freedom there.
Yeah.
Because it comes straight, from a free heart.
Because you get to express yourself.
Right.
To yourself.
Yeah.
And how does that feel to be able to take something that's so personal and somebody pay you for it? Is that weird?
Well, I feel, I think I had this conversation last night because we do things at the house, and
You didn't invite me?
it's every Wednesday. we're
You
there.
know what? Is that
Every
you? Oh, because you
Wednesday.
live on that compound, right? I'll be there next Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. So going back to creating things because I like them 1st. I'm putting out my energy or creating the things, expressing myself, emotions or whatever 1st. And if somebody's like, oh, I like that, that's great. But I'm not creating anything for anyone.
For anybody else.
If they like it, great. But I'm going to do it anyway. And that's what, I've learned. Like, I'm going to constantly produce. So it's not like I'm producing for anyone in particular or chase passion and not profit. Because, if you become good at your passion, then the profit will come. But if it's concentrating only on, I'm going to make this to sell it, then the energy that goes in it is very different from like, I just made this. And I like it, and somebody
Great.
else
You
likes
want to
it.
give me $50 for it?
Yeah.
No problem.
But
So once you make it, are you done with it? Like, is it like an orange and you're finished? You've enjoyed the orange and you're done. Like, are you attached to it? Or you're like, okay, great. It was fun making this. Now you can buy it. Like, since you're not
'cause
making it.
right? Because it's not made to like, oh, I need to sell. this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I made those. I think I sold a mask a couple of days ago, and the masks were made months ago, but not in intention. I'm gonna make these masks. I made a mask every day just because I had the mask, the materials, the time, the energy.
Wow.
And now I have a mask series, but not like, now I'm gonna sell this mask series. It's like, this is cool.
Wow.
And then they're in the gallery, and people like them. They like them. If not, they'll be in my gallery until.
Well, I've seen both of you struggle. I've seen both of you really struggle. And I remember, Adonis and I came up, our businesses came up. How old is your business?
Legally? On paper?
No, since you started, not necessarily legally, since you started.
I started with 2002.
I started in 2001. When did you start?
Same on paper. I don't know, on paper.
Yeah, on paper, yeah.
Yeah. And so
like
it's I've just seen
12
2012
on paper.
on paper. And then when did you start selling? I guess 2012.
No, I think I sold things before that, just going about it.
Yeah, in earnest in 2012. Yeah. Well, so I've suffered, I've struggled, you've struggled, you struggle, we've all struggled. I've seen all of us evolve, and you guys are now businessmen. And, I read something today from Jabari Young at Forbes BLK, where he said, Juneteenth, we're like, woo, celebration. And yes, we want to celebrate it, but it's really not okay. You know what I mean? It really is a very sad and terrible thing to even think about, that. Did we forget to tell you were free for 2 whole years? Yeah. Part of it was that they wanted to get another harvest out of it. Anyway, don't get me started. So, but Jabari Young of Forbes BLK today said, okay, that's terrible. But what if in August, which is Black Business Month, we take that, forget about Juneteenth, it's over there. Black History Month is 28 days. How about we take a full month, August 1st to August 31st, and focus on Black business? That is how we can celebrate Juneteenth. It's through economic freedom. And you and I, just based on the fact that we have all struggled. I forget who it was, Jamie Foxx or one of them says, money's not going to make you happy, but it just makes everything more convenient. And so I feel like I just feel so much better when my life is more convenient because I've struggled like you guys. So I'll put you the question. How do you feel when somebody gives you money for something you created out of your heart?
I think it's always a reward, but I made a comment. I said it's in one of my. I was quoted in the newspaper recently about my community eats before my canvas.
Say that again.
My community eats before my canvas eats, and that's who I am.
What does that mean?
That means that before I paint or before I get into it, I make sure that my surrounding, my environment, and the people who I love,
Your family.
Straight. My family first. Right. I don't have to mention them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the people who I care about that surround me. You know, not that you're always going to have certain people who, he knows this. You got the fanfare, you got the diehard fans, and then you have the people, I call them floaters. They're just waiting. It's almost like you're an eagle, and you're trying to take food to your nest, but they're waiting on the droplets.
Yeah.
You understand? You
The
got
little
those people.
hangers-on.
Yeah, they'll call you the king and everything, but they just want something from you.
No, they're like droplets. They're like little droplets.
Yeah,
and they want to be you. That's the best part. Is that like I think when you get to a certain point, like we have, where I'm always like telling people, I'm like, you deserve to be here. I mean, you are fabulous. Now I know you're fabulous because we're all sitting here. Because I care about what you think. We have all made it in some capacity because we're sitting here. We have something to say that somebody cares about after all of the foolishness that we've went through. So,
to answer your question, I want to say this real quick.
Yeah.
Is that absolutely it's a reward, and I try to. It's like my money. Sometimes my time is all. Everything is separated before I get to it.
what does that mean?
I mean, is that I'm last to benefit from everything that I do. I don't
You mean
care.
you get the money last?
I get everything last. Not when I say the money, I'm talking about. I make sure everything is straight. My business is in order. Kids, all that stuff. Everybody that's included. That's on my line. I make sure they're straight. Then Mr. Parker can sleep. I'd rather sleep than to eat. You know what I mean? That means I'm getting rest, and I can get up.
Gotcha. And you're rested because you've taken care of everybody.
Exactly.
Who you love.
Yes.
I understand.
So to answer back to your question, absolutely, it makes you feel good. You know, it's interesting because real quick, I'll tell you a story. When I first came down here, I was teaching at Alapata Middle. I think it was 03.
You were a teacher?
Well, I was assistant teacher because Gail Alexander, she just transitioned a couple months ago, but I was her assistant. She had I met her, I'll say this, at the time I was in between
Gigs.
housing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have a job. So I got laid off my other job, and I got, she was in she was at the park. I was sleeping in my truck. She knocked on my window and asked me, was I okay? I said, yeah, this is weird. And she said, young man, because she said, you're not from around here? I said, no. She said, you have a job? I said, no, ma'am. I didn't tell I was,
Homeless, in between housing.
Yeah, in between housing. And she said, I said, I want you to come out. So I said, ma'am, what do you do? I teach at the school. She said, art. And that was it. That was it.
Don't you love God when he's just so busy? You think he'd be like worried about something big, some big theory thought, but he's worried about you. Worried about you, worried about me. Look right here, chilling.
But this is what I wanted to tell you with that story.
Yes.
There was a wood shop room next to her room. I would go in there and paint, and that used to be my little small studio. Oh. But I'm going to tell you what happened. I never sold a painting. Well, I'll take that back. I sold small paintings, like $400 or $500. This lady, it was like a what do you call it, a triptych thing? Three-piece?
Triptych? Yeah, the triptych, yeah.
Yeah. She was coming from West Palm Beach, and she said she's gonna give me $1,000, right?
Big money at the time.
Yeah, and I did 3 abstracts, but I built the wood, panels or whatever. I didn't believe it, but this is what I'm going to tell you. I didn't do it for that. I just wanted to make sure that she, liked it because I promised her I was going to do it. And this is how I started with house paint, because I ran out of acrylic, but there was black and white house paint. They had black, white, yellow, whatever. I grabbed the black and white and I went crazy. I didn't know the house paint was going to dry that fast. So by the time she said, "Oh, I'll be down there. Give me about 45 minutes," and the whole time I'm painting while she's on the phone.
So you're worried, yeah?
Yeah, and I told Miss Gail, I said, I said, Gail, you got a hair dryer, hair blower? We tried a fan, everything, and I put it on wax paper so the bottom won't stick. By the time the lady came down, she came to the back door of the classroom. I said, "Ma'am, next door is the wood shop room." I opened up the gate. roller gate up. She walked in there, and she was like, "It is beautiful. This is exactly what I wanted." She had no idea it was house paint.
I'm in the game.
You know, where it came from.
Because it's art.
Right, the genetic code. Nothing. Listen, when she gave me that, for the first time in my entire life, I actually felt, that day I felt like an artist.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. Listen, I looked at it, still wouldn't believe it. I didn't believe it until I took the check. It was a Chase check. I took it to the bank, and when the lady asked me, she said, "How do you want your money?" That's when I knew it was real.
You like my money? Like my money. I want my money.
She said, "How do you want your?" I said, "Man, what are you
talking about?"
Because I thought there was something wrong with the check. She said, "No, you want 20s, you want 50s?" Whoa. And I had to act like I knew what I was doing.
Of course, I want hundreds.
Yes, absolutely. So from that point on, but it feels good, but it's like I celebrate every time I sell a piece, but God has me in a position to always, something has to go to him, and going to him sometimes, it has to go to people that are in need. Yeah. You know, so, and I don't celebrate too much. I don't care what I do, what I accomplish, because I know that if I'm celebrating, there's a child somewhere hungry, there's somebody crying, you know?
So your celebration is almost not celebrating.
Right. So
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I think all artists, there's, because we understand that, like I said earlier, we don't have to eat, man. We have to. This
you don't really need food to get it out of you.
Right.
It's going to come out regardless.
Right. But I've been eating lately, so there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Exactly. Yeah. So because this is a Juneteenth show, and because we were in Miami, both of you guys are so Miami artists. Your art has gone all over the world, as it should. And I'm happy to help it go all over the world. Mm-hmm. But you guys have distinctive, very Miami vibes, very Miami perspectives. So as Black artists, and again, I've seen you both struggle as Black artists, but as Black artists in South Florida, Juneteenth, like if I throw out all of those words, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
First, I feel like, anyone in Miami trying or becoming an artist, I give them all the props, because it's not an easy thing to accomplish here. And I don't know, like the Juneteenth situation. I don't know, there's so many questions you posed in that one little thing, though.
It's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little, I mean.
Like, give me a little.
Yeah, okay, so, how do you feel free as a Black artist in Miami?
Okay, we can start there. So, one, my slogan is also rebellion is the answer. So I'm a rebel at heart. And through my rebellion is partially through the freedom. Yep. And through that freedom is the art. And so to say that, do I feel free? In my bubble, yes.
In your bubble, yes.
There could be definitely more freedoms, but
does money make you free? Do you feel like money makes you free?
Money gives me access.
Makes everything more convenient.
Yeah. To do things that I want to do faster. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what, more money does for me. I need to I want to make a film. I know I can. I can call whoever and do whatever I need to do immediately versus waiting to do anything. I don't like to wait. I got patience, but I don't like waiting. Mm-hmm. So I think that where it's like I have the ideas, and then I have the resources and the energy to do things that I need to do.
Implement your ideas.
I need to buy more paint. I go buy paint, and to do whatever. So also that where it's like you were saying, where I think in the flow of how's it gonna work, we don't know. Saying just following God, you have to really trust that process. I've learned that this year of trusting the Creator, going with the flow, believing myself, believing in my art, believing in whatever signs. Here we are. It's all supposed to work out, and it will. If
you're supposed to be here
if you believe, and all belief and. All belief.
Yeah, you don't really have a choice.
All in.
All the way in.
All in. You might as well. You're going to, God's just going to make you do what he wants you to do anyway. You might as well just go with it. Just don't, go with the flow. Yeah. So, Adonis, for you, I know you have also struggled as a Black artists here in South Florida. I remember
Several years.
when you used to be like, Art Basel, Art Basel, Art Basel. I remember when nobody cared about Black artists in Art Basel. Nobody cared. And you were one of the largest screamers and now here we are. And there's actually an Art of Black. There's actually an entire festival supporting and celebrating Black art. So what does being a Miami muralist, Juneteenth freedom mean to you?
It's important that the kids that we teach and mentor, even the ones that we don't even know we're actually mentoring, because I know we all get those calls like, look, I've been watching you for a long time. How old are you? I'm 14 years old. Okay, where's your mom? She's right here. She told me to call you. I mean, we get those calls. You don't even know who's watching you, so you always have to have that integrity everywhere you walk. If you can make it in Miami in art, you can make it anywhere on the planet. Because this place here, I think the only downside to this is that a lot of artists get caught up in competing against one another or comparing themselves to one another. I don't do that. I never did. And I've accepted being last, but I'm happy with that because being last is really, I'm first in my world.
Yeah, so isn't that what it says in the Bible? The last be first and the first.
Yeah, first shall be last shall be first. But I've accepted.
And the master is a servant.
That's it. So my whole thing is that just to be a Miami artist, and you got Juneteenth, and I struggled for so long. But the difference is that the older you get, you continue to do the same thing over, and you get the same result. But I was actually looking and asking the wrong person for the blueprint to success.
So permission.
And permission. I said I trusted God back then, but that's the one I was supposed to ask. Not the commissioners, not the business people, business owners, none of them. Not the developers, it's God. And when he turned me back to his face, and I realized that is what brought Adonis to the next level, because I forgot about everything else that was around me. And I told God, I said, listen, I'm drowning. And he heard me. And I was able to not only help myself out of the ditch, but I was able to help
other people.
Yeah. So even to this day.
I watch you help other people,
yes.
Adonis.
So
I feel that like being, I don't know, not necessarily an example on purpose.
Right.
You know, but to say that I am a Black man in Miami making art, and you know, when I'm in my uniform, just anyone seeing me young saying it's like, I could do this. I could be myself, you know, and here's that guy as an example, just doing.
Did you have an example?
I don't think so, but.
Did you have an example?
For me?
Yeah.
Of a successful artist? Yeah. I became what I needed.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you, Josh.
But no, because he's going to say the same thing. I just want to say it before he did. Yeah. But no, absolutely. Well, I had I think the example I had was my uncle. He's never been in jail. You know, he's been very successful. He's been on his job for 40 years.
What does he do?
He's a regional manager, I think, from sporting goods at Walmart.
So the point was he was consistent.
Yes, he was. He's the one I gave a shout out at my at one of my award ceremonies. But he's an incredible human being. But he was consistent. And I never thought that anybody, you know, could do what he did.
And could stay.
Yeah, and could stay.
And could do it.
And he's still married too. So
I'm still married.
Shout out to my Uncle Patrick and my auntie.
Uncle Patrick.
Yeah, Jeanette. Because but that actually to this day he knows, but I don't think he really knows the impact of consistency. And I saw that.
Listen,
and I was up and down, up and down, up and down. But
consistency.
Yeah. But what's even more consistent to that, and back to, you know, tie all this in, is that sometimes we look at the wrong source and we ask the wrong people. But when we talk to God, God reveals all things. And I did it backwards.
And brings up people to you that are going to open.
Right.
Because the door's going to get opened by an actual person.
Right.
With a check, with an opportunity, with a show, with something that's going to come through a person.
Right.
But you've been going to those people when really you should be letting God bring those people to you.
Right, and
Is
that's
what
what I
you're
was
saying.
doing backwards. Yeah, the bottom line, man, if you, like you said, you got to believe in the actual process, and that process is going to force you to believe in yourself.
That's so hard, though.
Yes.
That patience, that process.
Yeah.
That because you know you're good.
Yeah.
You know you have something to offer. You know, because you can see it in people's eyes. I know that when people look at your art and go, ping, you could see it just like you ping. I know when I talk and I do stuff, I watch people how they react. They're like, how? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
because they can't do it, and I love the people that appreciate what we do, like Terry.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Terry
People like
Williams,
that
yes.
who they love.
Kevin, yeah,
Terry
Kevin,
loves.
yeah.
I always tell Terry, I'm like,
Yeah.
you love crazy people. Between me, you, between Adonis,
Yeah. Oh
Kevin,
yeah, the whole clique. Yeah, the
all
whole
of
clique.
it.
Yeah.
Terry's like, yay,
Yes.
crazy people, which is a superpower.
I don't even know how it works, but
I don't
it
even
just
know.
works.
It
just-
works, right?
Yeah.
The chemistry of us, yeah.
Then we attach to other crazy people.
And Terry's so normal.
Yeah.
Except that I'm like, how normal are you if you really love crazy people?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so
I don't know how that happened, but it works.
it works. It does
Yeah.
work. It does work. So what is next for you? Or what are you doing right now?
I mean, not
Because next it doesn't even need to be next. You could be
Yeah.
in your next. You could be like, I'm having a great time.
I don't know. Sometimes I break it down into like my little categories, like fashion, art, film, music, poetry, production.
That's a lot. A lot of things.
What?
Fashion, art, poetry, music, production. Wow.
So my fashion, the fashion is moving, making new things to add to the website.
Oh, wait, fashion.
And
I forgot. He bought me some pants.
What?
transforming
Super cute.
new artwork, into that. So it's fashion, art,
Brought me some pants.
art.
What have you brought me, Adonis? You should put some money on my credit card. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, edit that. Well, go ahead, yes.
In production mode, making new pieces. There's a lot of, I think I got an email this morning about putting some work inside this hotel, but then I was like thinking beyond just displaying it, I maybe want a particular Marcus Blake room where it's the sheets, the
You mean like my door?
curtains, the
Everything,
towels.
all of
Yeah.
it. You know what? I remember I met with Romero Brito in 2005. I had, again, just started. And I was like, I thought it was super cool. I'm talking to him, and I'm like, and I barely knew him. He was on Lincoln Road. I remember one day watching him paint his own wall. And I think that was when we had lunch, and I was talking about it. And he said, I want my art to be on bubblegum wrappers.
Yeah.
He says, I want my art everywhere. And after that, I saw the Absolute bottles, the cars, the Disney, the scarf. I had 3 Romero Brito scarves.
I'm with it.
And I feel like that's what, like, especially your art is
I like the translation to be able
graphic.
to translate it.
Exactly. It's so easily translatable. And absolutely yours as well in this kind of format.
I was gonna say his art is just. I watched a video he did. I think it was at a not bus station, but it was like a huge wall. Let me tell you something, man. I mean, when you go to fashion, but that's one thing. But the wall mural, I actually watched the whole thing, the entire. I don't even know what even possessed you to do something like that, but you were constant. It was like you. I knew where you were, and I'm glad I went there because I'd probably, pull you out of your trance or whatever. But I saw that. But when I looked at those pants right then, I was like, this guy, he can do this on a side of an 18-story building.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And it's my
And
son.
do you know how much work that? We do. I call it a million strokes every time. It's quick. You don't even know we were doing it. I mean, over layers. But that right there, just man. I mean, just stretching, and then
It's
he
striking.
paints right after
It's
that.
striking. It
So-
really makes an impact.
Right, and my thing is that I didn't understand it at first, but it's like once he explains it, but for me to embrace an artist's work, he has to love it, and then
Because you can see the love coming out of the art.
but then his
I think about that too, where there's
Why
like
does that tag keep moving on your head? Oh, there's a tag on both sides.
we
I'm
recording?
sorry, ADD. He has tags coming out. Did you know you have tags?
tags.
is he? Are we still recording?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Gonna watch the clock.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Don't watch the clock. Sorry, I'm sorry.
We're out of time anyway.
So sorry. We were talking about your art and him looking at your art and you being in a trance. I'm so sorry.
Like, sometimes I step outside of myself too. And like, if I would see it on the street and I'm like, what is it about it? But I think it's really it's energy. Like, it's just tape and colors, but I think even that you could feel the energy that's been was put into it, and then like it comes out, where it's just like there's something captivating about it, even though they're just lines and geometrics, but like that I'm pouring a lot of passion and energy into my concentration of creating it. So I think it like reflects that back.
Real quick, this concludes our broadcast for this evening.
It does not conclude. I could go as long as I feel like.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just seen the clock run out.
Continue.
No, that was it. Where it's just like, it's an energy thing. Even though they're just lines and triangles or colors, it's really, like I said, it's the energy that I put into it. Maybe just also reflects out of that, where people are gravitating to it or just being pulled to it.
It's very mesmerizing, actually.
His kids went to the same school.
How many kids do you have?
2.
How old are your kids?
My daughter Pauline is 13, and my son Archer is 9.
Oh wow! And
I was actually laying a foundation for a comment I was going to make about him.
Make your comment.
Yeah, real quick. But my daughter's seen his work out there at Morningside, and she's like, "Dad, 2.3 seconds. He looked like that," and she turned to me. She said, "That's his work, Dad."
That's Marcus Blake.
Yeah, but his stuff is it's infectious.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Everywhere I think there's a growing fungus, that's where his work is at. Yeah.
So there's a developer. I don't know if you know Kareem
Brantley?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Kareem Brantley.
When I met him, he was like, he said, it's called, when we were in Liberty City, it's called Marcus Blake effect. But I was like, it's good and not good.
Why?
Because he was like, wherever your work is also where they start to like, oh, this is the neighborhood we need to be in. It's like
What's bad about that?
Because it changes people's lives in a way like that, where it's like a beacon of like, this is where it's happening.
So you're saying the gentrification, it invites gentrification? Is that what you're saying?
I'll say this though.
Because you're in Liberty Square with Kareem and everything.
When I saw, like, I see his work everywhere. That's why I said it kind of like a fungus is everywhere. You know that?
Yeah, fungus just grows everywhere.
Yeah, and it grows. Yeah.
Like a booger.
Yeah, well,
a vine. I'm more like a vine. I like vines.
Vine. Okay, vine. Okay, I'm not saying Ivy League. We're not even go there either. That means we're promoting something else. But when I saw his work, I mean, his work is in high-end areas too. This is the thing. This is interesting. Is that he's the same artist. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's cleaner, but he adapts to his environment. Mm-hmm. But I know it's his work.
Yes,
you understand?
Of course, very distinctive.
If my daughter 2.3 seconds, said, "Dad, that's his work," did like that, and then come on, man. But his stuff is everywhere. But I'm gonna say this though: if I had to market him, it would be probably, because I know he do angles. It'll be a 90-degree angle. You know what I mean? That's it. But I'm gonna tell you why. Is because you can use so much. You can go in depth with that spiritually too. Yeah. You know, and he's the type of person that he is his work. That's what's hard nowadays when I can to even relate to artists. Everybody wants to be on top. Everybody want to dress weird or dress the part. This is this dude for real.
This is authentically him.
From the first time until now, this is Marcus.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
So nothing. So I'm actually, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I tell him that it's important for us to be who we really are. Mm-hmm. You know,
because that's where the sweet spot is. That's where people won't give you money.
It's harder to be someone else. It's like that's just a lot of work. And then eventually, it's like if you're not yourself, then it's like fine. You eventually got to be yourself and let that down. And it's like
might as well do it early.
Too much work, man.
So okay, so now he has gone on and on and on about you. I want you to go on and on about him. What do you think of Adonis's work?
I didn't say that, but
I think before I was even in the art world or getting into it, his name would pop up often. Like, do you know Adonis? I'm like, I don't. It's like Adonis. He's like a friend of such and such. He's Adonis Parker. I'm like, who's Adonis Parker? And then I ran into him, and then I just been a fan of Adonis.
So when did you guys meet?
I don't even know, man. I see him all across the place.
We just ran into each other.
You guys maybe like get on each other's nerves, though. Really?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, in terms of like, fabulous black artist, fabulous black art. Maybe not get on your nerves, but like almost like almost like have somebody to aspire with. You know what I mean? Another black man who has that same struggle.
Because he's hidden. He's almost like Jimi Hendrix. Once you see him, and once you don't. I mean, one, you see him, then you don't. But I'm always happy to see him because I know he's going to say something positive.
He's not a jealous individual.
Nah, man. And then he don't have to be. He could be. His head could be big.
Yeah,
you know
he could
what I mean?
be. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I know that's not him. That's not in his DNA. People expect you to. You get to a certain level, automatically they prejudge you. Oh my gosh, he's an elitist now. Oh, he forgot about us. Suzanne, when my first Suburban I had down here before they repoed it, I had two people when I first got the spot on 62nd Street, my studio, push it out of the thing. Where were these people at?
Wait, what?
You say I'm an elitist and all that? Right now, I'll just say this. Those rumors and, okay, he's big-headed and all that stuff, they don't know me. They don't know where we came from. Anybody can make it if you just apply yourself. But I'll just say this to them is that no matter what they say, I'm going to continue to love them. And if they need my help, I'm always going to be there for them. But you know what happens sometimes? It's the pride. The pride that stops you from... Yeah.
And then also, too, this kind of thought that, like, if you're fabulous, I can't be fabulous. Yeah. That's some stupidness.
Yeah.
They can have that.
I want people around me who are awesome.
Take the people, take the top. I want to be on the bottom because that's less attention. And I want
to be in the middle. That's where the money is. Oh. That's where the most amount is.
Yeah. It's like what you were saying, like, after I got to know him and see him out and about, wherever I see him, it's the same where in the previous question, it's like, I'm a black man. A young black man, and then I see another one who was like, he's successful doing this thing. It's like, yeah, that's dope. I like that. I like him, So it's like, not to say I want to aspire to be him or anything like that. That's just inspiration to say like he's doing it.
Well, okay, so
he's done it, or it's great. It's great to watch him do it.
We have to close up my show, but I think we should do a collaboration because your work is so different.
We already talked about that.
Voila. We already talked about that. I think you should call it today.
That was on the last text, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Something like that. Yeah, we already talked about that.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, we're gonna do something real nice.
So very good. So I want to know, how do I find you? If somebody is impressed with you, as they should be, and do you do commissions?
Not right now.
You do restorations? Okay. So
restorations, yes, and not right now. It's a
website.
Adonis Parker, Addonis Parker.com.
And then on Instagram, Adonis Parker and Adonis P.
Adonis P on Instagram, Art Forever on Instagram, Adonis P on Facebook.
Okay.
Art Forever on Facebook, Donnie Glass on Facebook.
All right. And Mr. Blake?
On Facebook, Marcus Blake. On Instagram, I'm m.blake, MDOTBLAKE.
And your website? Do you have a website?
Yeah, m.blake.com, MDOTBLAKE.com.
Perfect. All right. Well, it was really good having you guys are like two of my favorites. You all know. Like I'm always like in love with the two of you. You guys are awesome. No. And Adonis is usually annoyed by that, by the way. He's usually like, why are you even talking to me? At least Marcus accepts my, my admiration.
Yeah.
He always acts like I'm bothering him. But you know what, Adonis? I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm so sorry. So thank you guys for coming and we're done. Thank you, Alex.
Mr. Alex, I know we went over time.